So I'm going to call to order the Westford Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. This meeting is being broadcast live by Westford Cable Access TV and being recorded for playback online. By attending this meeting, you are consenting to your likeness and audio being used for this purpose. So we're going to start with our 7 p.m. agenda item, which is open forum. Do any members of the commission have something for open forum? Jim?
I got 3 items. One, I didn't see anything in our packet about the violation of the order of conditions against CSX and their contractor and their subcontractor for the spraying. The violation notice said that they have 45 days from back around mid-June to pay the fines, but it doesn't say what else, what happened otherwise. I haven't heard anything about it.
So,
The CSX itself.
yeah, I'll follow up with,
RWC, and then
I'll follow up with that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Second item is the signage at the beaches.
Yep, that's going to be replaced this weekend. I spoke with the facility coordinator.
With the right,
And, yeah, with the correct MGL, whatever.
So we have new signs with the
Yep,
correct.
they're up there for
Yes.
him to replace.
3 of them, one for each beach.
One for each beach.
And then lastly, I didn't see anything in our packet or online about anything back from the Westford Land Preservation Foundation about the road repairs, what we can or can't do, and the number of vehicles.
So I need to schedule that meeting with yourself, Margaret, as representatives for the commission, with members of the Land Preservation Foundation, Teamworks, Rec Department.
We can ask those Land Preservation Foundation without having a meeting.
In terms of road repair?
I can certainly ask.
2 topics, right? Road repair is one.
Yeah, and then the lease extension
And the number
and,
of vehicles, trips.
yes, is a separate.
Yeah. Depending on what those are, what the answers are, that may change how we go about either RFP or negotiate, or just in terms of negotiations for the contract. If there's any big significant changes to the contract, we'd probably do an RFP. If it's minor things like dates and things like that, then we can probably do just change the dates and vote on it.
And you had reached out to town council in terms of getting their clarification when we do, in terms of the,
Yes, town council was, because this was before the commission's last meeting, that we could negotiate and renegotiate and with new terms as part of the existing lease agreement in terms of extending it.
so does it make sense to put that letter into our meeting packet so the commissioners have?
I can, yes.
Okay,
That's all I got.
okay. Anybody else? Matt?
Um,
Let you finish writing your note.
Just that the applicant has requested, the applicant for the formerly 7:25 p.m. agenda item, the continued public hearing of Jack and Claire Farmstead LLC at 400 Littleton Road. The public hearing's been continued to the commission's next meeting.
In case
And-
anybody was here for
Yeah,
it.
in case anybody was here for it. And also, as one member is participating remotely by phone, all votes should be by roll call tonight.
Do any members of the audience have something for open forum?
I'm Ellen Hardy. I'm on the board of directors of the Land Preservation Foundation, and we seem to have a real misunderstanding here, Jim. We are waiting as a board to be invited by your staff since May of 2024 to meet with you and Teamworks and Michelle from Parks and Rec so we can work out what summer camp and traffic on that road will look like.
And road maintenance too, right?
And maintenance too, but we have not heard from your office, and it was 2 weeks ago yet again. Nor has Michelle from Parks and Rec. I met with them at their meeting this week. She has never been contacted by the CONSCOM about this. And we are so perplexed. We don't understand what the roadblock is. I brought my calendar so that you and Margaret and I can decide right this minute, at least tentative dates, that we can set that meeting up. Teamworks is willing to meet with us, but they've given us all their thoughts. They gave us a wonderful 14-page document that analyzes what they think is viable. Parks and Rec hasn't done it because they haven't been involved in it. We'd love to have it be next week or the week thereafter, so we can have the courtesy of getting back to Teamwork and responding to the impressive document that they shared with us, a month and a half ago. So I think the ball is in your court, not in our court. So can we resolve that tonight so that we don't go another couple of weeks?
We have an outstanding couple of questions to the Land Preservation Foundation, or no?
No, I mean, I know you have, you raised those questions, and so I need to, schedule it next
Absolutely.
Wednesday at 1 p.m. If that works with you. Again, I'll have to follow up and check with other people.
Wednesday the 17th?
17th?
Correct.
And I will be out of town, so is there,
Yeah, it was going to be, I was going to
It'll be remote?
Yes.
Okay.
So what time is it?
1 p.m.
But it's not for the full commission?
Oh, I understand.
Okay.
I couldn't understand when it was.
Okay.
I just wanted clarity on that.
Okay.
I will check with Andrea and see if that works. Where would you like to have that? Can we have this
Oh,
room
it'll
or
be,
Parks and Rec's office?
it'll be remote. I'll send a link.
It'll be remote.
Yes.
Not the same vibe with remote, must it be?
I mean, it's
Could they come up here?
we certainly can. I need to check that calendar to, but
Just make sure there's a room
I could do
available.
it in person.
And I think the question of whether Teamworks really needs to be there at this meeting, we have all of their thoughts. It seems to me that that's asking them to come for a third time.
We have discussed with them that package that we had.
I was here for both of those meetings, Jim, so I think we have very much their thoughts, and they can be available by phone. But I don't think it's necessary, that's up to you, it's your meeting, but I think we've heard from them, and that document they gave us is very complete. Now we, as a town and a nonprofit, need to get together and decide what it is that camps will look like, and then get back to them through your board.
I would like them included as a dialogue, because as we have our internal conversation, there may be points that come up that they hadn't considered, that they weren't aware of. And so I think it's, we can't just say, they've had their say, now we'll have ours. I think we need to continue that dialogue, because they sometimes have information that we're not aware of. And I want to continue that cooperative spirit.
I agree with you totally. I had felt that we would use their document as the basis for our conversation because it's such a superb document. They really have covered so much, but absolutely, if either Chris or I believe Sharon
At least offer
is
it.
able
At
to
least
be
offer it
there,
to them.
that would
Yeah.
be great.
At least offer it to them.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Shall I wait to hear from you as to whether that 1 p.m. next week before I invite Andrea, who is also representing the foundation?
I will confirm with the other parties and at least send an email out confirming, putting a placeholder, or getting information back that that's a hard no.
Okay. All right. Super. Thank you for that. We are very much looking forward to getting the yes on this because it's time. Thanks so very, very much. I would also like to go back, but I don't know if this is open forum or not, but some of the things that Elizabeth Almeida's email, which came to our board
did not
as
see
well,
Said. All of us haven't seen it.
All of you did not see it. I'm
No, I heard
sorry.
about it
So
It didn't, I don't think did it get sent to, I know it got forwarded to me after the fact.
Yeah, so it
I don't
wasn't
remember.
sent
I-
initially
to
in
the
that.
town manager, but not to the, Elizabeth. So perhaps the fact that you have care and custody of the property, she sent it to the town manager, but it's,
Yeah,
this board is.
So, with it coming in on Monday
Mhm.
or over the weekend,
Over the weekend.
it wasn't included in, a revised meeting.
Okay,
packet,
understand.
So certainly it will be provided.
The only question I had about it when Matt said he had been up there and checked the water leak, I think probably more as a resident, but also as a member of the board, where does the caretaker of the property come into this? The kinds of things that Elizabeth reported that the property she was there for a weekend or an overnight last Friday with a group that had rented the property. And the kinds of things that she reported about finding trash and things not cleaned up, isn't that the caretaker's job to keep on your behalf to do that? Or is that Matt's job? I would love to
That's,
understand
again,
that.
I mean, is there, that's within the caretaker's, responsibilities of, meeting with renters, making sure that it's in a suitable, but I think the broom swept condition is the term. So again, I can follow up with him, but we have, again, renters throughout, until the middle of October. So again, the first time, okay, let's fix this and address it. I don't want to be having conversations, getting those emails from renters.
I'd like to hear from the commission members too about how you perceive the job of the caretaker. At the time that it was George Fletcher 20 years ago, he was there on a daily basis. When it was Jeff Mount, I know he was there at least every other day. And I don't get the feeling that that's happening now. So I'd love to know the commission's understanding of what the caretaker's job is and what, I don't even know if it's a he or she, of what that person's responsibilities are. Is it written down somewhere?
Before I could answer something like that, I'd want to see their contracting.
Yeah, there's a contract which stipulates the activities that they're contracted for, the number of hours per week. I think, Matt, is that level of detail public knowledge?
I know it went before the select board for them to approve, again, based upon the
Okay.
value, so it certainly,
Maybe you could send.
I
us a
would
copy.
think so.
Okay, so I would say, can
Maybe
we,
you could send us a copy?
Yes, I can certainly circulate a copy.
or
of-
include it in the meeting packet
Yep.
so that it's publicly available? Because with that kind of, George was free to spend as many hours as he wanted there. Now that we're in a contract relationship, there are limits that were not necessarily in play in George's day. But yes, I think it's good that we have that information.
If you just share it, even if we're not part of the dialogue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Matt, how long has this contractor been employed in this position?
So it expires this is the third year of the 3-year contract.
Okay.
This was his second 3-year contract.
It appears that he has not done, it's been going on for more than a year.
Again, in terms of, what
We have to be-
has been, when I've gone up, when I've, met with him, when I've, camp opening, it's been, there's always, something to, a smoke detector, needs batteries, things, maintenance level things to, address, nothing that I would say is the scope of this.
Well, my concern is, and Elizabeth's was too, is that the property is starting to deteriorate because water's leaking and stuff and causing damage.
Right, I mean, and so in terms of, I haven't, it's water's leaking also in, a confined concrete, at the, in the bathhouse, that's a confined concrete, it's designed to be washed out. Is it, the fact that there is a leak, there is, things that need to be addressed, I've raised that to, I've followed up with him and I've gotten a timeline for things to be addressed. I plan to follow up,
Sure.
and, make sure that what was, the timeline was followed. Or, if we need to get in, specialists or professionals, that's something to, because it's beyond their scope, that's something that happens.
That's fine. He just needs to say he can. Yeah.
Right, I mean, that's,
He's a plumber.
no, I mean, that's, and I've mentioned that to him numerous times about if this is not something that you can do,
Right.
I need to know so we can get, somebody up there to, there's been, clogged things in the, one of the
Maybe we.
septic lines was clogged, and so it was, so, we brought in a vendor to jet it out, things like that, so.
One other thing, do we ask renters for feedback? Like, is there?
I don't know what that process is. I can ask the rec department. Again, the rec department handles the rentals, the coordinating, the.
So if there's a site inspection when a renter is checking out, rec department has a process for doing a walkthrough of the property?
Well, no, the checkout process is with the facility.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he would be the one who would.
But if a renter wants to follow up on,
Okay,
addressing some, hey, this occurred, this was this was something, raise a concern, that I imagine would go to the rec department. And I can follow up if there's a formal process or if it's just a ad hoc, when they,
and if they keep a log of
yeah, I
comments.
can certainly follow up.
Okay. Just for my information, check in and check out. When a renter checks out, is there a process that the caretaker does to make sure that the building is left in?
I can ask them what their process is. I don't think
Okay.
there's a standard process.
Because I think that would be another thing we would want, is to make sure that if somebody's been using the property, are they leaving it in an acceptable condition? And if they're not, then that's something that needs to be addressed.
Marilyn had a question,
No,
but I also.
maybe
have
we
a
need to
thought.
see this, all of this,
Mhm.
like, even if it's just on a drawing. So who's responsible for what, and how would we sure that that has taken place, so the door gets closed and the next person comes,
Mhm.
Because I'm sure there are a lot more things than there are people to take care of. I'd like to see that.
Okay.
It won't happen all at once, but it would certainly be, if we built into the system, then we'd be sure. You rented it this way, you leave it this way.
Mhm.
If you have a real problem, we bring in someone to fix the problem.
Okay, and I think, that's also very helpful to have over time, that if we change contractors, there's something that we can hand them that gives them what the
And even
expectations
the
are.
person we've hired will know they have to be accountable.
Yes,
So I am confused, because after we purchased the property 20 years ago, the town owns it, and they gave the Conservation Commission care and custody. So I am very surprised that the caretaker is hired by the Board of Selectmen. They handed that to you. I'm very surprised you don't know if there's a process
That's
for when
a,
people, just let me finish, man. That there is no process for when people go in and out of East Boston camps. I think that's really fallen to the ground in the last 20 years. And I think that this board, commission should do some homework. None of you, maybe Jim, actually Eric, you were on it 20 years ago. Perhaps even you were, Marilyn. But I think it's important that we know who has care and custody. I think we need to know who makes the rules about who uses it. I don't think it is the RecCom. If they are doing that, that was never given to them by the selectmen. And I don't know if you have the authorization to give it to the Recreation Commission. So I ask you to look at that hard about what your responsibilities are there.
I'll
Yeah.
clarify this again. This isn't gonna, there's
No,
documentation.
For now, it's a
Yeah,
public
but
forum,
in-
I'm just raising the question, but I think we all need to look at it as a
so,
town.
so we need to understand if in fact the select board is the one who signs the contract with the
Why?
caretaker, why? What is the background for rec handling the rentals for us?
Thank you.
Yeah, but I think, just in terms of new people on the board, it's good to have that information out there.
That'd be wonderful. If I can help with that history, I'd be glad
It won't be
to.
done in a week, but we'll do it.
Great. All right.
Okay,
And we will be in touch about 1 o'clock next Wednesday, and I'm very grateful
Correct.
to you for that. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you. One more thing.
Yep,
I noticed it wasn't on the agenda, but there was one page in our packet about the chimney at the Neshoba Lodge.
I think there was
there is a discussion item.
it's up.
It's one of the
in
725s.
Oh, this is not the event agenda.
Oh, okay.
And
Which you want?
Good, I'll take it then.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Didn't
okay.
have the signs on.
So, moving on to our other 7 PM agenda item, it's a continuation of public hearing and issue order of conditions for Crowry, 18 Lawson Road.
Joseph Ferrari, I reviewed the orders and I'm all set if you are.
Okay. And members of the commission had chance to review the order of conditions and have any comments or questions?
Good.
Can I have a motion to approve? Can I have a motion to issue the order of conditions?
So moved.
All those in favor? Oh,
Yeah, you got to do roll,
yeah,
yeah.
roll call. All those in favor? Eric?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Anne?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
And Margaret, yes. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Eric?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Anne?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
And Margaret, yes. Okay, so that will be in touch with the paperwork.
Thank you.
And you get something from us to sign. Oh, thank you. Okay. Moving on to our 7:05 PM agenda item. It's a continuation. It's a appointment with C. Hoag, request,
Christian Hope.
Christian Hoag, request to archery hunt on parcel 045 0099 0000.
I don't think he was able to make it. I know he had some work. He was trying to, but included in the commission's packet is this resident's request to archery hunt on the commission's property located, bounded by Forest Road, Tingsboro Road, and kind of in that triangle. The commission has granted approval to archery hunt to them the previous couple years. He provided the release and documentation with the acknowledgement and acknowledging that any hunting activity would be done in accordance with the select board's policies for uniformity between town boards.
Jim?
The majority of the packet material has to do with the land, permission to hunt on land that the selectmen own. There's 5 parcels that the selectmen have a whole process that it's run by the town clerk's office. And that there's the parcels at 5 or 6, 6 parcels there. None of this has to do with the conservation land, except for that map. That's the important part to us. For land that's under our care and custody, we have that ability. This is all for a select board, so all this stuff.
But for uniformity, it's to have uniformity with the select board's parcel, the applications and permits to occur. Again, getting their contact name information, their license numbers. Again, acknowledging that they, the Westford hunting policy. Again, it's not, the policy was established and it's for the select board's parcels, but as a matter of for consistency across town boards,
And I know.
so I'm not having, to create, so myself and the commission are not having to recreate their own policies, procedures, So
We're gonna have him, does he have to comply with all of the rules and regs for the selectmen, because there's requirements for notifications, signage, things like that.
Yep. Yes, that's the whole point of, for consistency across, so it's not, otherwise, the commission doesn't have a set policy on hunting. So,
Generally, we don't, but we make.
right, but that's now.
Certain specific cases or
So
requests.
I'm, repurposing the select boards that they've done, established as a standard, set of things to occur when, hunting on their property. I don't, if, the commission can, certainly say, no, they don't have to follow the select board's hunting policy. I think it's a good thing, so we're not creating more work and there's consistency across,
Yeah, we're not being inconsistent with the approach. Has this gentleman hunted on this property before?
Yes, this is the same gentleman who requested it at least the last 3 or 4
Okay.
years.
That's what I thought.
Marilyn?
And I always vote no, you know that. So, about any kind of.
We haven't got there yet,
No,
though.
I just
I know.
saying, so I want my voice heard.
Yep.
I never
No.
permit it.
Is he separately going in front of the select board too?
No, because this is a property that's under the care and custody of the commission.
So we're just using the select board's form
Yeah.
as a best practice, so that if they see a reason on behalf of the town for the form and the rules to evolve, by using their form and their stuff, we are also keeping up with any changes that they make on behalf of the town.
But we are just giving permission to.
Yeah, and it's,
Our property.
right,
Yes,
and it just.
which he,
which is-
cites down, between
Yeah,
Tingsboro Road and 40.
it's kind of there as an addendum that,
Understood.
yeah, we're trying to be consistent and they
So you
don't
have
leave
to
a
tell me
blank
what
for
I'm
us to
voting
write
for.
in our
Right,
own parcel.
Yes.
So you have to tell me what I'm voting for.
Okay. So are there any other questions? Any comments or questions from members of the audience? Okay, so the request is to archery hunt on the commission's parcel with the parcel number, following all the same rules and guidelines that the select board enforces on their properties. Here is a locus map that shows where.
Distances to roads, distances to trails,
Yeah.
distances to properties.
Yep. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it reinforces my no.
Okay. So, can I have a motion to approve the request to archery hunt on this parcel? Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, Eric?
Yes.
Marilyn?
No.
Noel? Jim?
No.
Ann?
Are
Ann?
you there?
It's hard to be the.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yes, you're here, or yes, you're voting yes.
Yes, I'm voting yes, and yes, I'm here. I had it on mute.
Okay. Lauren?
Yes.
And Margaret, yes. 5-2. Okay. Moving on to our 7:10 PM agenda item. It's a public hearing for 30 Preservation Way.
Under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Westford's non-zoning wetland bylaw, Chapter 171. The Westford Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, at 7:10 PM in Meeting Room 201 at Town Hall, 55 Main Street, to consider the notice of intent application of Clayton Heine for the construction of a patio, deck, outdoor kitchen, and other landscaping within 100 feet of bordering vegetated wetlands at 30 Preservation Way, Assessors Map 12, Parcel 145, Lot 0. I apologize for butchering the name.
You did a good job.
Good evening.
Okay, evening to the committee. Thank you guys for the time and consideration.
For the record, you are,
I'm Clayton Owen. I'm the owner of 30 Preservation Way, as well as the applicant for the NOI.
yeah, it just, for the meeting minutes, so the person listening to the meeting will be sure it's you.
Sounds good. I can dive right into some of the key points of the proposed work, and then obviously happy to address any questions that the committee may have. Feel free to ask me or interject at any time. So the property in discussion, it's 30 Preservation Way. It's a lot of land that's just shy of about an acre, currently in use as a single-family home. So what I'm proposing is the construction of a deck, patio, outdoor kitchen, as well as a landscaping wall in the rear lawn of the property. And it's the rear lawn of the property that abuts a wetland resource area to the northwest. So the rear lawn today, it's currently a legally existing, non-conforming, maintained lawn, approximately 2,000 square feet. And the existing lawn has a cobblestone border, which you can see on the top part of the line, that delineates a do not disturb buffer zone to that wetland resource area. It measures on the left-hand side of the west side about that border, cobblestone border, about 15 feet from a wetland resource area flag. And on the right-hand side, about 20 feet from a wetland resource area flag. So the proposed work I'll go into will take place in this rear lawn. which is solely within the 50-foot buffer zone, and there won't be any work or staging or stockpiling materials, within that outside of the cobblestone border. So the proposed activity includes a 1,200 square foot patio, a 64 square foot deck expansion, and a 136 square foot covered outdoor kitchen area. So that in total is roughly 1,400 square feet of proposed work within that 2,000 square foot lot. So the largest portion, which is the patio, that's 1,200 square feet, I would propose to use permeable pavers to help with water runoff. It'll also include a landscaping wall, which you can see towards the top part.
The pen is a pointer, just don't look at it.
Awesome, thank you. As you can see, like right over here, that would be a landscaping retaining wall just for landscaping. The deck today, there currently exists a deck about half the size you see in this proposed outline. And so the proposal for the work is to expand that from an 8x8 to a 16x8. And then lastly, the outdoor kitchen area will include a 136 square foot covered gazebo, which will be right over here. And that will include proper water management for any water runoff.
So Matt, this is on grass, but distance to the resource area from any?
So, and the applicant did touch on it and was raised in questions from another commissioner. On the left-hand side, the distance from, again, and so the commission may recall this address. An enforcement order was issued for the removal of some pine trees. The applicant came before the commission as a part of the enforcement order, prepared a planting plan and buffer renaturalization. As part of it was this cobblestone border that was referenced, and probably best if I show on some of the photos. So this is looking towards the west. So you can see the cobblestone border occurring at the far end. The distance from the cobblestone kind of
That was 15 feet.
15 feet, and the near side in the photo was approximately 20 feet. And again, this is not what the proposed work is occurring further, not up to that. And that's shown on the plan as this kind of edging. This line here is the cobblestone. That's not the wetland resource. So the wetland resource area on the left-hand side is approximately 15 feet from this, and then 20 feet from this end of the house. Where are we? Approximately 20 feet in here.
From the cobblestone or from where?
From the cobblestone.
From the cobblestone,
Yeah, so there's a naturalized buffer that was required as a part of the enforcement order to be established and delineated, and
That's not right there?
yeah.
So everything beyond the cobblestone is like to be left alone. That's basically the limit of what he could do.
Right. It was a function to delineate by the former owner to delineate the lawn area and the naturalized the buffer to the wetland resource area. So 15 on the near end here, 20 feet on the far end. Again, this house, from my recollection, was constructed prior to the commission's adoption of the setbacks. So having the cobblestone border and the naturalized buffer, I think achieves kind of, again, with the prior, kind of as a part of the enforcement order with the previous owner, kind of achieved the commission's goal of permanently protecting, which was kind of the impetus to reaching out and to our office regarding the filings and kind of the appropriate processes going forward. And so the wetland, there's 10 to 15 foot naturalized buffer before the wetland resource area.
Jim?
I'm glad to hear all the patio and of course the plantings are all permeable, so water can drain through no problem. What's the distance from a non-permeable structure to the wetlands? What's the closest that is? I couldn't tell.
Well,
Is it the kitchen area?
that's what we're missing, is we do not have a plan that shows what we normally have on the plan of record, the location of the wetland, the buffer zone,
That's why I was interested in
the limit of work,
closest
the
distance
closest distance,
from an impermeable surface.
right, that we normally have a plan that shows all those elements. That's one plan that can be given to your contractor so that everybody working on the site works to that one plan. We don't have to worry about people looking at different plans and maybe going astray a couple of feet and then having to deal with stuff that wasn't built the way it was supposed to. So I think, for me, I would want to see the type of plan we normally see with the enforcement order and the work that was done with the prior owner. Did we ever have a plan that showed the location of the wetlands and, you
I
know,
think it was a sketch done by
Okay.
a landscape architect, I can check.
okay.
Would just kind of where the patio layout plan that was included in the commission's packet showing, you know, some of the distances of the features and things like that. If this was to be, if the wetland resource area was to be kind of shown beyond,
Superimposed
yeah, or you know, superimposed, you know, and
with, and then with
Call
a
out the-
30-foot buffer.
yeah,
Yeah.
call out the,
If this plan was supplemented with all those additional,
Put one on top of the other.
well, it just, yeah, a single piece of
Or just add
paper.
the additional information.
Yeah, with
But
the,
that should be sufficient to give us what we need.
right.
It would
It's,
be really clear then. It's
There's
not-
another one that's, I think, 2 pages away. You could just use that.
well,
I mean,
Not this one, not this one.
no, but if you mean the one with the patio drawn in red?
With the star in it, that one?
Yeah,
This is the one with septic.
yeah, so the septic plan was, again, this was prepared by the septic, when the septic had to be replaced. So again, the work is, this is the existing deck that is to be expanded. But again, generally, the work is to be occurring in this general area back here. So,
So
I mean,
we're 20 feet away from the wetlands?
so 20 feet, so the cobblestone, again, kind of, and the septic installer didn't,
Care where the cobblestone was.
well, they didn't care, and they didn't care where the edge of clearing was because, you know, it was behind the house and the septic was to the, which at the time, you know, at the time, it was like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. That works for us. You know, so really if, you know, continuing this kind of squiggly line, this direction, you know, that's the existing edge of clearing, you know, and so 15, we can certainly scale, again, it's getting, you know, superimposing this, you know, with some of the wetland lines onto the, you know, referencing this delineation, again, citing the, you know.
Make it-
Yeah, it'll be helpful.
It would,
You know,
it would make
typically,
it much clearer.
typically we don't like people working within the 30.
Mhm.
I mean, so it's like, it'll give us a better reference of where we're at
mhm.
compared to the resource.
Well,
Instead of guessing.
So would you, in terms of our thoughts, this has the wetland flagging information on it. But it doesn't have the 30-foot buffer, and I don't know if it would, I'm almost wondering whether it would be a challenge to try and replicate all the proposed elements on this plan. Do people have a preference, which is the base plan that the additional information is added to? Because we want everything on one plan for the contractors.
You could block it out with this. Doesn't have to be detailed
Right.
like the contractor's plan. You could just block it out, right? And then draw distances.
But remember that we need enough detail so that when we get an as-built plan, Matt can compare the as-built to the plan of record to be sure that it was done properly so that we can issue a certificate of compliance.
I mean, and so, again, the kind of layout plan was prepared by a landscape designer. Again, you know, it's conceptual layout purposes.
Okay.
Plenty of nice caveats in there. But it does, you know, show corners of the house, you know, they should be able to reference the septic plan delineation off of that. And again, if this is, so if, you know, at the corner of the house, if the wetland resource area is 10 feet beyond that, here's, you know, a 12-foot section, if this is 12 feet here, the edge of, kind of the gazebo covered kitchen area, is probably 10 feet from the cobblestones. I mean, so we can get, and so if it's amenable to the commission, we can certainly get that information shown on this plan. And, comment I had to the applicant, in prior was, reach out to this design company to see if they can do, an as-built type, can they come back out, when it's done and, whether it's take GPS points or something like that, and, kind of delineating the edge of, the edge of the pavers, the edge of plantings, because again, that's the area of alteration that's occurring.
Jim?
I think this is the diagram that they should start with. It does have a scale. It's not shown on the screen. It's down in the bottom right, but it does have a scale. It shows the building, and it shows the extent of the proposed project. But what it doesn't show is the wetlands and the distances to the wetlands. There's a lot of numbers on here that we really don't really need. But we do need the distance from any impermeable parts of the project and the wetlands.
Well, and thinking back to Callista Terrace, the other reason I like this level of detail is because in the past, we have seen applicants come in for one reason or another and want to revise the design. And so I think it's very good to have a complete plan. So when, they say, oh, well, we need to move the gazebo here or whatever.
Or we want to, 12 by.
Yeah, if something
deck or
is needing
something.
to change, we have a clear basis for which to consider that change.
Reading the description, it sounds like the area that I'm going to be most concerned with is the outdoor kitchen area. That sounds like it's going to be an impermeable surface.
Although that seems to be furthest away from wetlands flag 10.
It is.
If you look at wetlands flag,
Right, but
8.
the distances, I want to see them.
Yeah, well, I know. I think he might be a
It's
little
thirty-
tighter on wetlands flag 8, getting closer to the garage.
If 30 feet works, that's great.
But yeah, having those distances is going to be able to help us decide what, if any, changes, we might request.
Yep.
Permeable pavers and plantings all over, those are great. That's fantastic, that's good. But anything that's not going to let the water soak in, that I want to see the distances.
Well, I think you said there was a gazebo roof.
Yes, so I'm happy to take this and add in the markings of the wetland resource area as well as the distances to the different elements of the design. I will say on the left-hand side, that proposed work will absolutely be within 30 feet.
I mean, this is existing gravel, and lawn. And so again, we can,
So the left-hand side will be within 30 feet.
And
The
is that all?
right-hand side will be close to 30 feet.
And within 30 feet, is it permeable materials? Like you
It
said?
is permeable materials. It will be a permeable walkway.
All right, and on the
So
other
the
side,
impermeable portion, which is effectively just a roof, a gazebo, right, to cover the kitchen area, it'll be close to 30 feet. So once I do the markings, I can give you an exact number.
And with the water that runs off that roof, what is the proposal?
There'll effectively be a gutter to put it into the existing lawn or into the permeable.
Okay,
Okay, we can make suggestions.
yep.
Yeah, happy to.
So let's continue, get the revised plan, and
I'm not done with my questions. And we haven't asked the audience. No,
No trees coming down, right? There are no trees or bushes or anything affected, right?
Correct, yeah. No alterations needed to any of the vegetation that's in the non-disturbed
We'll
area.
find an answer.
okay, so Matt, can you go back up to B1 pictures and kind of blow it up? Because what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of branches, those branches that are extending off the tree.
Mhm.
Are those going to be over the area where the patio is?
They are not. So actually, the extending branches are in trees that are outside of the proposed work areas.
Okay.
Actually, the edge of the proposed work is really the edge of the existing deck, which really
Okay.
goes to roughly there.
Okay,
So as part of, I think, the prior enforcement order, whatever large trees were in that space have already been removed. So there are actually no overhanging trees.
well, and I think they planted trees that weren't going to grow so tall. Okay, I saw the branches sticking over and I thought if the patio's underneath,
I mean, and that certainly can be something we can draft a special condition for the commission's consideration.
Okay,
You know, about in the event, you know, pruning is, you know, if pruning is proposed or, you know, is identified at a later date, you know, that it be done with, you know, typical silvicultural practices so that it's not just, you know, a guy with a chainsaw, you know, hacking at it. It's, you know, being done appropriately by, you know, with two standards.
So the deck's gonna be on sonic tubes? I'm sorry if it was in there.
The
It's
deck
gonna be
is-
on sonic tubes?
the deck.
Are they gonna be on sonic tubes?
What's it?
Sono. Sono. It's actually sono
Concrete,
tubes.
um,
Concrete.
Piling,
Yeah.
There will be a concrete footing. I
Yeah, okay.
guess I wouldn't go as far as
Sonic,
say
sorry.
exactly which type.
I mean, it could be, there are precast stuff that I know regular filers with the building department use quite often, so.
But underneath that would be
Crushed
gravel,
gravel.
right?
Yeah, correct. So what it is right now under it is crushed gravel.
Okay,
And so it's really just an extension of that, another 8 feet across. There's actually currently you can see it on maybe the right-hand picture, there's a sliding door that the previous owner had built that I guess it goes to nowhere at the moment.
It's gated off.
Gated off. So it's just intended to extend so that that door can come and
I
use.
love doors that go nowhere.
Okay. So is the
I
commission,
think we've given it enough direction.
okay,
Would the commission like me to draft special conditions for the next meeting?
What did you say?
Would the commission?
Sure,
like-
you know, depending on how,
Again, I mean,
we might
if,
get there, so.
right, you
That'd be
know,
fine, if we can do it.
any comments or questions from members of the audience? Okay, so we would continue to,
the commission's meeting on the 24th.
okay. And so we're looking for an updated plan, and you'll have a draft order of conditions to
Yes.
be reviewed. Okay. Can I have a motion to continue the public hearing to September 24th?
So moved.
second,
All those in favor? Eric?
Yes.
Meryl?
Yes.
Noel?
yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Anne?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
And Margaret, yes. So we will see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
patience.
Moving on to our 7:20 PM agenda item, it's a discussion about a proposed plan modification for Shaw 7 Applewood Drive.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Mark Gallagher from Seal Harbor Companies. How are you this evening?
Well, and yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. Our client, the Shaws, came before the board quite a few years ago for an addition to the rear of their house. The size of it is 18 by 40. At the time, the engineering firm that did the work on it suggested that they use screws essentially to go into the ground to hold it up 8 feet above the ground. A lot of things have changed over that period of time. With the stretch code, there are certain requirements for air infiltration that are very hard to meet when you hold a living space up 8 feet above the ground. You know, there are new requirements for insulation, and also the weight of the building has grown a little bit because they want the house to be multi-generational, as Massachusetts is really moving towards, so that they can have their family come back, their kids and their grandkids live with them off and on. So the renovation now also includes a second floor where they're going to be renovating a couple bedrooms to make them larger en suite. And so there's a great deal more pressure, if you will. And the combination of those things just don't work well with screws in the ground. If it was a deck, or if it was a sunroom, or any of these other things that maybe not heated and treated, it would work well. But it doesn't work really well when you want to heat and treat and have living space. So I spoke to Matt when they asked us to embark upon this, to come in front of the board. We'd like to put a 4-foot foundation, 10 inches wide, in the ground in place of the screws. I know somebody had asked earlier, and I answered questions concerning the disturbance. The disturbance isn't going to be any greater. It's going to be about equal to it. If we're going to be putting 20 screws in the ground, we're going to be disturbing the ground across that 40-foot plane, 18 feet wide. There's plenty of area outside. We'd be removing the material from the site when we're excavating the foundation. It's below grade. It'll be, backfilled the same as the screws would be backfilled. But it's just going to be it's the only real way to be able to do it because of the weight characteristics and the insulation and other factors, air sealing, which just, cannot be done to the level that's necessary. And where the building is now, it was 700 and some odd square feet originally. It hasn't expanded, but with the second floor space being expanded over the roof line, it requires a different level of testing once the addition is done, blower door testing and that would be very difficult to do. So we're asking the board to allow us to put a concrete placed foundation in place below ground as opposed to the screws. The work area will be identically the same, not any closer, not any further. However, they did get approved originally for a 40-foot farmer's porch across the front of the building, which they no longer want to pursue. A 40-foot, they want to pursue a significantly smaller entry in the front of the building. That would also be more energy efficient for the long-term stay in the house.
So the laser pointer there, can you show me the area that's currently using the screws that you want to swap out?
No, there are no screws, sir. They never did the work.
They never did the work?
They never did the work, that's correct.
So
So I'm looking at this point right here of the plan. And is this the point area that you're looking to build?
Correct. This is it right in here.
Well, if that's what they want to build, then I don't believe we would allow a frost wall foundation that close. I mean, we would have allowed
Because
it's a permanent foundation that they're building up on.
mm-hmm.
We would have allowed the deck there with a screw that close, but we wouldn't have allowed a full foundation for addition to the home. Probably why we went with the screw, because they're 31 feet to the closest portion of the wetland. Typically, we wouldn't allow them to come in and do that.
So what you're talking about is the setback for a permanent structure.
Right, versus, something that's held up on screw.
Okay.
I thought I heard earlier 30 feet. Was I incorrect, the 30 feet?
So there's a 30-foot no disturb, under the town's wetlands rules and regulations, there's a 30-foot, and which is shown on the plan.
Yep.
The 30-foot no disturb buffer, there's a 30-foot no disturb buffer and a 55-foot no build structure, setback, sorry. And so, again, where they
Came in at one point after the fact to do a deck.
Right.
Or
the sunroom
closed or
on-
something,
With
but
an
on
addition?
screw.
Yeah.
Is different than a
On
full
the,
wall, frost wall foundation.
Again, on the design detail type thing.
So they're outside of the 30 foot.
Right, but they're inside the 55-foot.
But no build.
So inside the 55 foot, you can build a deck or you can build a structure, but it has to be on screws.
It's the way it's been without that frost wall foundation.
Right. I pulled the plan. I'd have to go back and look at the minutes to the meetings to figure out, to better understand the commission's justification. But in terms of, and which again is, I imagine part of the reason why, the plan note was the addition was to be built on the.
Yeah, it was the
as
proposed
opposed to-
addition, if it was something like a sunroom or whatever. But yes, I think,
It would have been on sonotubes or screws or something like that.
Yeah.
Which would have allowed us to say, okay, you can be a little closer to the resource, but,
or not comply with the
Right.
not comply with the 55.
55-foot no build.
Yeah,
So it can be constructed on screws as approved, but it cannot be constructed on the frost wall.
That's correct.
Because a foundation.
Because it has a full frost wall foundation,
And that is considered a structure,
a structure.
but it's not a structure if it sits on screws.
I mean, it's the disturbance associated with excavating for pouring concrete, you're over excavating, you're, that's, you're
You're
disturbing.
replacing permeable soil with a concrete foundation.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think.
It's open underneath with the screw, but it's not open with a full, it's impervious at that
So
point.
again, this discussion was, and as referenced in the agenda, special condition 14 of the order of conditions was related to plan changes and written requests being submitted to the commission with respect to kind of as the starting point for the commission to determine whether or not a new notice of intent would need to be filed.
I
So,
believe if I read this correctly, the second floor also goes over, there's the first floor and a second floor over the proposed addition.
That's how they had it.
Is that that's what I read there, is that correct?
My understanding was the original architect did that. So we're not being asked to do
Was the
something the
original?
original architect. So my understanding,
Then we must have allowed it for that doesn't seem right.
So that would be I think that's where it would be helpful to have the research, because was it really a two-story addition?
so I got a set of plans from what I was told with the original architect
Okay,
that had.
Yeah, I guess we could use some additional information.
yeah,
Had living space over the rear of the building and had living space over the proposed porch in the front of the building.
God, we wouldn't have allowed, because with those
The front of the buildings,
screw support, the weight of a structure like that.
right.
Maybe,
Well, and some of
maybe
it
did,
is,
and we said, okay, you gotta leave it unpermeable, permeable beneath.
but also if we approved a one-story addition and then they started thinking other things.
Yeah,
would they have given you a set of plans when they came in front of the board? So that should be in the packet, right?
I can certainly.
not in our packet,
No, for the beginning,
If they-
the original. It could be in
Yeah.
the plan file.
And, well, Matt's checking documents
How
online.
long ago was that?
This plan was prepared
Oh, it's here.
November 22, final revision January 23.
2 years ago.
If they move it to the side of the house, you wouldn't have that issue. But is that too close to the?
Then you
Still
should
be
have.
within the 100-foot buffer, but you'd be outside the 30 feet.
You'd be.
'Cause I think they're
you'd be outside the
31.
50 foot too.
Yeah, they're 31, if I read it correctly,
Existing.
they're 31 feet from the edge of the vegetated wetland to the rear left corner of the house, I think. I believe.
Yeah, but is it too close, how far?
Western
it's gonna be
The
from
structure,
Leachfield?
means.
But
Yeah.
the other thing
The
they would,
septic tank's right there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that,
the location of the septic, the approximate leach field, septic tank, you have to worry about lot line setbacks and zoning. There's lots of moving parts.
Oh,
there is.
I'm familiar with the moving parts.
Yeah.
I've been here a few times.
It's not as helpful as it's hoping. There you go, that's the NOI plan. There. Oak trees, proposing natural buffer.
I think we probably did mention the concrete foundation, because the note down here, it says the addition is to be built on techno metal posts, which are the screws.
No concrete foundation to be used, yeah.
Which is why I came.
Mhm.
So that's
So it doesn't seem like they gave you a set of plans, man.
No, I think it was
Just
one
the
last.
testimony.
One last. That's the notice of intent application. Raised stairs retaining constructed in addition on techno posts of associated grading within 100 foot of the maintained duration. Existing conditions, soils, proposed work. Raised stairs and retaining walls constructed in addition on techno posts, porch, deck stairs associated with them. Okay.
So as long as it goes on the techno posts,
As.
can we find a way to work around the stretch code? Or work with the stretch code?
That's-
I don't know if we ever got anything that said it was
I
going to
don't
be a
thi-
two-story addition.
Yeah, I don't think there was. I think it was
Yeah,
just the plan. Oh,
It
well,
was probably proposed as a.
I have the
percentage.
original plan, which again, it's same general location. Yeah, it's not showing these trees.
Yeah, it's the same size. What I was provided originally, it's, the addition today is the same size as it was proposed originally. The only change that we were asking for was to go to a better ceiling, being the foundation frost wall. I was not aware that you had the 31 foot or the 55 foot. And it required it to go on techno posts, so we'll just go back to the structural engineer and ask how he can put them on techno posts.
Sounds like a plan.
Because then they already have their order.
correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when.
But I don't know if that order, included a two-story addition there.
I mean, it does. It's. We didn't include anything on it. It's
No.
we're silent on it. So.
Silent to it.
So again, and the notice of intent itself doesn't specify
So,
one or two. So again, outside of not being,
Well, I guess then we would want it to be built the way we had approved it previously.
on the techno posts.
Right.
right. I mean, and if we're silent on one story, two story.
Yeah, hey, if you can do it, you can do it, but it's got to be built using those, load capacity.
And then I mean, and again, yeah, and I mean, where's the plan that I want? Yeah, and then there was just some renaturalization within 10 feet and some buffer, some
Yep.
posts to be included.
They're
Again,
aware of that.
yeah.
Okay,
Well, thank you for your time this evening. And
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you
and
the-
asking.
Thank you for the educational notes that I asked.
Yes.
I appreciate the fact that you do ask.
Yes.
Sometimes penance is more difficult than asking. So, thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your patience.
We're doing the restoration assistance on 5 and 6. You want to go again next week?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to what was our 7:25 PM agenda item, which was a continued public hearing for 400 Littleton Road.
They requested a continuance without discussion to the commission's next meeting on September 24th.
Can I have a motion to continue the public hearing to September 24th?
So moved.
All those in favor? Eric?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Noel? Jim?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
And Margaret, yes. Moving on to our next 7:25 PM agenda item.
Oh,
The chimney.
The chimney. Yeah, there was not a cover page. Oops, my apologies. I did include in an email to the Westford Land Preservation Foundation president as I received a quote back from a contractor who provided a proposal for to repair the existing chimney at the Neshoba Lodge, including excuse me, repointing the mortar within the bricks, and generally, making sure that it is structurally sound. The cost was, as proposed, was approximately $15,000. If there are any questions about this, be more than happy to answer them on it.
A couple of things. In the first sentence, the gift from the friends was $56,000.
Right. Yeah. So
What's
the 5,000 was supposed to be 15,000 because
No,
that's the utilizing funds.
Oh, utilizing funds.
Yeah.
So the amount of funds being
Yeah,
utilized.
the amount of funds being utilized being
Okay.
5, which should have been 15.
Okay. We have a rough time frame.
They presently said, October, November,
Okay.
if we can move
One thing I'd mentioned
forward on it.
in one of the open forums in the past few weeks was getting the building inspector to take a look at that to see if, A, we should be, just have notices that renters don't use the chimney, or B, whether the building should just be closed and not rented until we get this done.
So presently, that's not being rented. It's being used by it's being used by the summer camp as a inclement weather.
Okay.
They're not having. I know they're not. Starting. They do. Campfires out in the fire pit. We can certainly provide information to renters if they are using this. If this building is going to be open, to not use the fireplace
Maybe
again.
we should do that.
We could have a permanent sign in the fireplace,
I think so too, because,
in addition to telling them.
yes, telling the person who rents it, but then a sign for everybody they've invited there, so that nobody, so there's,
Decides to use it?
yes, so
Get a
everybody's
cold
on
day,
notice.
Throw some wood in there and light the fire, and have the whole building go up.
Yep, okay.
Let's think happy.
And so if that's amenable to the commission, I can work with the town manager's office to get either the contract or the PO issued for the work at the select board's next meeting.
What company is going to do it?
Again, this was Graziani.
Oh, okay.
They were certainly the lowest of the couple that I've gotten.
I used them for repointing my chimney recently, and that's why I gave you the card from them.
Yeah. So they're responsive, and again, comes with a great recommendation.
Can I have
Yes, I was, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I have a motion to approve Matt starting the procurement process to have this work done?
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor? Eric?
Yes.
Marilyn? Noel?
Yes.
Jim?
yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
And Margaret, yes. Okay,
As was,
go ahead.
As was raised in discussions at previous meetings, residents were concerned about a couple of trees in the parking area of the Stony Brook Conservation Area off of Depot Street. Included, 2 emails were included. One included photos. I stopped out this week, kind of looked at the couple smaller ones, kind of closer to the kiosk. They're 2 spindly pines that have no apparent needles growing on them. The other was a much larger pine, which also has no needles growing on it. As commented in my email to the Westford Land Preservation Foundation president, letting them know that this discussion was occurring, and B, that this was one was in questionable condition in so much as I was able to push my pen into the trunk. So,
That's the message.
yeah. So the 2 smaller ones, I don't see as being I want to evaluate them more as a part of a larger assessment, because there certainly are pines with dead branches, deciduous tree, oaks and maples that have, dead branches that are larger and would significantly impair access were they to fall along the access road. Again, these aren't directly adjacent to parking areas as much as the this larger one with the car right behind it. And
Who would take these down?
my first call is the Department of Public Works to see if this is something they would be able to do. If not, we'd have to contract it and, go out to, use the town's
Probably should.
procurement. The larger kind of assessment of dead branches, dead limbs that can't just be, moved off to the side of the road, I want to do a little bit more documentation of kind of photos identifying them, and that's a little bit more of a heavy lift for me. But it's also, again, one of those, maintaining access and preventing, any, being a little proactive in terms of managing dead.
Falls down on somebody.
Probably
won't.
It's more in the event emergency access. It inhibits emergency access. Where if it's a 8-inch diameter oak limb, that needs equipment. That's not a pine branch that can be kicked.
Do what you got to do.
Right.
Okay. So the first one, so this sounds like it's kind of bifurcated. So first, a motion to approve a motion to approve the removal of this dead pine tree adjacent to the parking area.
Shown in page 3 of 3.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Second.
Make sure you use the word dead like you did.
Yes. Dead pine trees.
Dead and.
Okay, so all those in favor, Eric,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Noel,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Anne,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
and Margaret, yes. Okay,
Okay.
and then,
Who made the second? Oh, sorry. Thank you.
and then for the other 2 trees, those are going to be part of a more comprehensive assessment
Of the parking area and
the access road.
the access road, but a lot of those would probably need to be removed by a tree service. So
So that would be a larger,
there's a little bit
Do
more.
you need
work.
anything on that now, or do you want?
Nope, nothing on that now.
Okay.
Just updating the commission.
for planning purposes, do we have a time frame of?
I want to talk to the highway department because.
No, I meant about the second part.
The second part? I would
Talk about it at our next meeting?
A month. Give me a month and I'll have
Okay,
something
so,
documenting in a month.
okay. Moving on to our next 7:25 PM agenda item, the discussion of long sought on fireworks water quality sampling.
Included in the commission's packet was TRC's report for the 2025 fireworks residue monitoring. Included at the commissioner's seats was kind of a compilation of the 2 charts.
Maybe it's on here, hold on.
As they had a pre and post in 2 separate charts, and it wasn't as easy to flip back and forth. As part of their results, they did observe the perchlorate concentrations increasing post fireworks. They are below Massachusetts's drinking water standards for perchlorate. Open to.
So my only thought there in reading this is perchlorates could potentially, become more concentrated in the soils. So we took groundwater samples, but we didn't take any soil sample. So I don't know how quickly the perchlorate breaks down in the soil.
I thought it was mostly highly water soluble.
I was reading it, I thought I read that it could tend to build into the soil at some point. I did read that accumulation or the perchlorate tends to break down quicker in ponds that have a lot more vegetation in them. It seemed, as far as the metals were concerned, didn't seem to be an issue. They didn't see it.
Yep.
It's just more like, would want to take just a little more look at the perchlorate to make sure that, they weren't somehow bioaccumulating and creating an issue that way. But it seems like, we did see what we thought we were going to see, nothing before, some perchlorate after the fact. Is that enough for the town to be concerned? I'm not sure at this point.
One of my thought, again, kind of looking at it and in reviewing the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services fact sheet that they provided, what the fact sheet comments on bioaccumulation in fish at higher concentrations.
Okay.
They also didn't say what higher concentrations,
Yeah, I know.
and so, with that also being said, the fact sheets references studies from the late 20 to the 20 lots, where, they were observing concentrations post fireworks. Again, on one example, there was an Oklahoma study from 04 to 06, I think, that where concentrations were above 44 micrograms per liter,
Yeah.
which is 44
Yeah.
times X of what we've and that decreased to below 1 within 20 days. So I to your point about if we want to next year have them sample, try to pull I think sampling again is going to get us similar results. I think if we want to get new information, we see about doing soil, have them do soil sampling of, at the outfall. I mean, the outlet.
Maybe. I think we narrowed it down to at least, I'm not so concerned about the other metals. I'm looking at perchlorate. I know we've had issues in the past in town. I would hate us to potentially have an issue. So, if we can just take a little bit more of a look at this and maybe next year have them do the soils because we've already done the groundwater. And,
Or maybe ask them if anybody's ever asked them to do the soils before.
Yeah, it certainly, they're very responsive. Again, they were able to get out, I think it was the Tuesday following. So
That's a good idea.
it's, we can certainly ask I can certainly reach out to them and see if this is something that.
Yeah, other than that, I think
that they,
and
as, the technical scientists think, yeah, there may be something there. We can do it, but we're not sure what you'll find. We're not sure that you'll find anything.
A little more information would be helpful, but it's nice to get what we have because it helps us certainly narrow down any issues of concern and right now just making sure that, we're not somehow
We've got good
bioaccumulating
baseline
or-
data now.
Yeah.
Jim?
It's the Summer Village organization, I don't know if it's a homeowners association or what they call it, that essentially runs the fireworks, right? I think what would be nice would be we could send them a short letter indicating what we've done and why, and indicate that as long as they maintain something comparable to what they had in 2025 in terms of fireworks displays, that we currently don't have any significant problems with the effect on the waterways. We will be testing, we can test again specifically for perchlorate and see if it gets worse over time or if it stays about the same or if it flushes out.
Or we might just include some soil sampling in
Sure.
our next testing, but.
We can indicate to them that we didn't have concerns after having
We're
the
happy
heavier
with
metals
it.
tested,
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a positive letter.
Yeah, a positive letter, and in it asking gently, not telling, just asking them to maintain comparable, if they're gonna do fireworks, do it in
Continue
a
what
manner
they're
similar
doing.
to what they had in this year.
Right,
Yeah.
don't, you know, double the length of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
No,
Do you have the date of the fireworks?
August 2nd.
Oh, okay. Was
We
it
could
in
hear
fact-
them.
There was, all this information was in the packet, but it was scattered over 3 or 4 pages.
Yeah, I was
But no, other than that, I'm glad that we did it, you know, and I think we're doing our due diligence, and, you know, it's good information to have.
That's the letter I was here. That's it.
I'm reading through, I didn't see it.
Oh, it'd be the
One other
after that
thing that I read
would have
too,
the date.
we might want to mention is, in some of the research I did is, you know, to make I don't know if they do this or not, but they say for like unexploded ordnance or finding wrappers or partial pieces of what's been exploded, the shells, that those should be picked up because those do have a higher concentration of like unspent, you know, perchlorate and other things, and for them to walk around afterwards to pick up any debris and to properly dispose it.
I can certainly, again, I'll draft a letter, again,
Yeah, yeah.
I want you guys to see this,
Make it an upbeat
but.
letter.
It is, and, you know-
It's, it's one of those, like, you
We're
know,
happy to tell you this, you know what I mean?
but, you
Happy
know,
to
also,
tell you.
you know, as, if
Best
you are going to
practice,
do this,
yeah.
right, you know, to be good also, you know, still be good stewards of the water body, and, you know, the next morning, you know, make sure you're out there, and any unspent or, you know, casings or stuff, yeah, I can certainly include
Because they
that.
talk about that as being a major contributor, as, you know, ones that don't go off that people don't find. Those are the ones that really, you know, spike the results.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you, I think that
Yeah,
was
that's
good
good.
information.
I was
Nice,
pleased,
happy report.
yes, you know, I was pleased that it wasn't something actionable.
Outrageous, but we
Yeah.
did see something at the same time.
Right, you know, the concern was founded, but, you know, with the concentrations being what they were.
Good answer.
Well, like what Jim says is you know, you wouldn't want to double or triple the amount because, you know, I have read where, okay, you've got X amount of pounds of this, you will end up with X amount of pound of residual. So, you know, by, you know, tripling it, you may see, you know, a greater increase. So,
Yeah.
so good point by Jim.
Moving on to our next agenda item, a certificate of compliance request for Franklin at 69 Broadway Street.
I do not have an update.
Okay.
I do not have anything at this time on the enforcement discussions regarding 20 Keys Road and 20 Tenney Road. As was raised during open forum, the discussion between the commission, CR grantee, lessee in advance of negotiations, tentatively scheduled for next Wednesday at 1 p.m. to be confirmed. The Emmett and Neshoba Brook conservation areas, the use of the properties by commercial entities, and the MOU that unfortunately has taken a backseat. Just don't have the time capacity currently to address it. Edwards Woods Conservation Area, the restoration of the disturbed areas, again, I have not made headway on it. I'll try and.
Well, 'cause I thought we had had a couple of bullets about
Yeah,
signs and.
sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
They probably got.
Yeah, because I think it's, you know, I think at this point, we're kind of in fact finding about, you know, get back to posting the signs again. I think we were talking about getting the property surveyed so we could be clear on what the property boundaries were, where our property ended, et cetera. And then there was also some talk about maybe getting a camera.
Right.
Yeah, so I think,
It's probably a good time, being as we're approaching fall, and if people are going to be dumping leaves on the commission's property.
This is the time of year.
When the leaves fall would be a very
Yeah.
advantageous time to catch them.
but yeah, because I think if, you know, if we have those discrete actions, it becomes easier to kind of stay focused on, okay, is there something we can tick off the list?
Freedom Park, I don't have any update on at this time.
Do we have a vendor that,
I haven't.
okay, so we're still at the point of trying to find a vendor to look into what we do about fencing.
Yes.
Okay.
And I reached out, and with the Summer Village Conservation Restriction Amendment update, never sent the email to the attorney's office. I resent that earlier this week to follow up with them to see kind of where things are at.
Okay. So we had minutes for 2 meetings. One of them was July 23rd. People had a chance to review any comments or changes?
It's good.
I just need to figure out if it's the 23rd or which set of meetings it was.
What are you doing?
For something.
Yeah, there
Reading or
was,
something?
there,
Is there something in it?
there it is. Edit an open forum for the, I think it's for the 23rd. Sorry.
We accept the minutes as written.
What?
There was a,
I did a
As
little
amended by
edit.
Matt, yeah.
No. Well, because what I had raised was at the bottom of page 2, there was a couple of lines where there was a bunch of she's, sentences with a bunch of she's in them, and the she's didn't refer to the same person, and so I just said, the last full sentence on the last line, have it begin, instead of she responded, Hartnett responded. So there would be no confusion about who was making the comment at that point.
and it was
Okay.
just on this, oh, oops, this is not. There was one thing for open forum. Open forum currently reads, there was no open forum items.
Plural.
Yeah, there was, sometimes English is tough. And reviewing these quickly sometimes gets lost. And that it should be, there were no open forum items.
Just make that correct.
Oh, yeah, there were instead of there no was.
Yeah. So I guess we're looking at these and trying to edit them fast.
So Jim, you made a motion to accept as amended?
Yep.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Eric, yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Abstain.
Okay, Jim?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Lauren? Oh, you're
No,
abstaining.
abstain, yeah.
And Margaret, yes. Okay, so those are approved. August 13th,
Yeah, I'm abstaining from that because I was absent.
okay.
No changes.
Make a motion to approve.
All those in favor, Eric?
Yes.
Marilyn? Abstain.
Abstain.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
And Margaret, yes. So that's those.
Beautiful.
Can
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor, Eric?
yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
And Margaret, yes. So we are adjourned.